today's video, I've got my notes, so bear with me. What should I do about storage? I'm going to give you an extensive guide on what to look for, how to maintain your unit, what to do, what not to do, just some basic hot tips. So, okay, number one, you want to look for a place that's clean and well maintained. I cannot stress this enough. Are there like chunks missing out of the wall? That kind of thing. So just look at the general upkeep of the property. That's really important. Number two, you want to make sure that the staff is on site. Are they working regular hours? I would also recommend to look for a bigger facility, just because they normally have several people working on site. You want to make sure that they're not a sign's always on the door that they're on the property. You don't want to deal with that. So make sure the staff is there. They're on site, and they're available when things come up. Do you have a direct email? Can you call the property directly? You want to make sure all those things are like accessible. Those are important. You want to be able to reach someone when you're not on site, and you want to be able to reach the staff while you're on site as well. Again, sounds intuitive, but trust me, it's not. Okay, number three, you need access to a bathroom. Now, that sounds like a given. And again, trust me, it's not, or this list would not be necessary. A lot of times what the staff are doing, because so many homeless people are renting storage units, and they know that. We are their bread and butter, make no mistake about that. So a lot of times what they're doing is they're locking the bathroom, which to me is crazy, because the only people that are regularly in the bathroom or in the building are people that are paying rent. You can't get into the building without having an active code, which means paying per unit. So they know it's only the renters. A lot of times the bathrooms are locked, or the staff is never on site to unlock after hours. You're not going to access the bathroom. You're just going to be in and out, and you're going to want to have access to that bathroom. That is a hard line that you should not do without. And a lot of times if you ask them to, they will pretend like they have a bathroom, and they don't actually have a bathroom. It's one of these nightmare situations, not on site. It's actually locked. So just see how that is. Actually ask to use the bathroom while you're there is a good way to test. Do they have to let you in? Whatever. So, okay, number four, safe. Okay, so are there weirdos or creeps lurking around? Is there someone giving you a bad vibe? It's also like staying safe in your car. You got to use your like spidey sense. You got to use your intuition to really determine, is this somewhere where you want to keep, what little bit you have left in life. So keep that in mind. Okay. Another thing you want to look for are the driveways super narrow. Like, when you're pulling in there or when you're walking around, look for there's always going to be a lot of trucks and things, but, are the lanes, the driveways too narrow is it a close, getting through next to a truck or whatever? You have to visually look at that, but just keep that in mind. And that's something to look for. Are there mirrors on the blind corners? That's a safety issue. You don't want to not have those things. So just a visual check for you. Okay, so number five. Again, it's just my list. Bear with me on my phone. Climate control. You are going to need it. Period. Don't compromise this. Just in general. They almost always want to put you on a higher floor. That's also a given. And so, especially if you're on an upper unit, you don't want something, even in a like mild climate, you don't want something on a higher floor and no climate control. You'll hate it. Trust me. Don't do it. Okay. Number six, always look at the unit they're putting you in, and normally they'll show it to you. But if there's some reason why they're trying to push you into that, just make it a pass. Okay. So, here's some things to know while you're walking to the unit. They'll want to chat you up and distract you from things. Don't let that conversation distract you from what you're trying to do, which is look at all of the elements. So is it really far from the elevator or an entrance? Are you walking for several minutes to get to that unit? Does it seem really excessively far? If so, forget it. You're going to hate it. And, if that's the case, if there's a lot of other green flags about the property, then, I would suggest to ask for a different unit that's closer to the door or, on a ground floor. Like you can advocate for yourself. You can ask for things. All they can say is no. So, all right. So there's that. And, make sure you're close to the bathroom and that kind of thing. Okay. Number 7, are you going to feel like your things are protected? Is there something in your spidey sense or whatever that makes you feel uneasy about the safety of your property? You want to feel safe after you put that lock on, that your stuff is protected. Okay. Number 8, and this is a big one, and I've actually encountered this. I've rented a ton of storage units over the years, even when I haven't been homeless. And this happened to me recently, and I saw another Google review after it started happening of the exact same thing. This is why I knew that it was happening. You want to look for signs that your things are being messed with. And what do I mean by that? So let's say you close it up and you put this, an example, you put this towel over here in the back corner, or you hung it off of this shelf that you have. And then you came back and it was like on the other side of the unit. It's going to be small things. And you'll notice it after going a couple of times where you're like, I'm pretty sure I left this over here and now this box is open, or something like that. Trust your intuition. Don't rationalize it. It's really possible that your stuff might be, accessed. Like a lot of times, most times there's a space on the thing, and I've researched this, where they can crawl through from one to the other into different units. It's crazy, but there's a lot of bad people out there. I don't know how else they would be accessing, but just keep that in mind. Keep an eye on your stuff. And if you're seeing several instances of that, I would recommend, first step, to take a picture of your unit before you leave. Pull up the picture when you come back. Is this exactly how I left it? If literally anything is moved, sometimes things can fall down, and that's kind of a normal thing. But I mean, if things are actually moved, get out of there. Find yourself a new unit. I wouldn't even talk to the property about it. They're just going to try to BS their way out of it and play dumb. So just get out, get your stuff, move somewhere else. It's that simple. Another thing you can do to see if someone's accessing your unit, you can put a small piece of paper in the lock. The rolling doors are a little harder, but you can still tuck small piece of paper behind. And if that's the case, your paper should fall down the next time that you come in. If that doesn't happen, I mean, the door's being open, but if they're accessing from the top, you won't know. So the picture will be your tool for that. Number 9, continuously inspect for pests. Like, are there a ton of moths? And you can look around and tell, like in San Diego, it's just a thing. There's a lot of moths. There's a lot of moths in storage. It's just part of it. You obviously want to look for other things too. And smells, for example, like if there's rodents, it's going to have a smell. Look for, turds, that kind of thing. Like, just sort of keep an eye. Don't go crazy with it. But, just have an awareness, keep an eye on it. Number 10, this is a big one. Always be ready to move storage facilities. Why? So the costs can be going up too quickly, or let's see, the staff can start acting like excessively rude or aggressive. And this can happen sometimes. A lot of these, again, even though homeless people are their bread and butter, a lot of these places really hate homeless people too. And they will, they'll make your life a living hell. So, they can like, okay, so let's see. And then, okay, so another thing under that is, another reason you could want to move is there a chronic problem? Is someone like 2 doors down basically always in the unit, or the cart's always missing and it's just, you can't stand it? Whatever, you personally will know what it is that is unacceptable for you. Just be ready, mentally prepared to move your storage unit if things go sideways. That's it. So 11, if things come up with your locker, like you're just finding, you've done all these steps, you're just finding it's just way too far from the elevator, it's too far from the door, it's too far, from the bathroom, whatever it is. Don't be afraid to talk to the staff and just be like, hey, this isn't working for me because X, Y, Z. And give them a chance to like do something to fix it, and see if they can help. Okay. Number 12. So get yourself a couple of cheap racks. You can get the wire racks. You can get these little plastic racks. You can get stuff with rolly things, and they're not really super expensive. You can buy them online, or you can look in Walmart and the usual places. You are going to need a couple of shelves. You can use it to store your clothes, your toiletry, your extra toiletries, stuff your stuff that isn't day to day, and that kind of thing. You do not want a chaos, like messy pile in your unit. You're going to hate it. It's going to be stressful. You're not ever going to be able to find anything and really use your locker for what it's intended for. So you're going to need to organize it, and keep it straight. So make sure you can get yourself moving bags for like, your blankets and stuff you don't use all the time, pillows, that kind of thing. And you want to get yourself some boxes. They're easier to stack, and they're just like way more efficient on space. You're going to need a combination of all those things. So don't have it be a hot mess. Get it straight. Get it together. Okay. Number 13. Okay. Remember, if you choose to move facilities for any reason, you're going to have new admin fees. Even if you change your unit at the same facility, you're going to have new admin fees. So just mentally prepare for that. There's no way around that. Let's see. Okay. Number 14. On your tour, and this is sort of similar to what I talked about before, but this is before you move in. On your tour, look for signs of, I didn't talk about this, but water intrusion. Are there stains in your unit? They'll always try to tell you that some oil spilled. That's a red flag. Don't move in there. There's a problem. And then, so again, be really critical about what you're seeing. Let's see. Point those things out to the staff. If they blow you off, or you get a weird vibe about how they're responding to it, that should tell you a lot, and you should not rent that unit, and I wouldn't recommend dealing with that property in general. Point those things out. Do you see like an excessive amount of bait boxes for rodents? They'll have a normal amount, but if you see one like every 5 feet or whatever, Houston, we have a problem. Like that means that they have a ton of rodents on the property. You do not want that. That's really bad. Okay, so yeah, you should see some. How do the floors look? How do the corners look? I talked about this a little bit before, but is there like heavy scents? They always have a weird smell, almost like a mothball smell. I think that's kind of normal, but are there heavy deodorizing scents like throughout the whole thing? Red flag. Okay. Does it feel excessively like clammy or humid, damp? Like you can kind of feel that. That's also a problem. Let's see. They're all just bad signs. Don't ignore those things. Okay, number 15. Don't be afraid to take pictures and videos of your tour. That can mean everything. The front tour, the front office, the hallway, the units. Obviously, you'll want to get permission to, can I video this tour? And that could be another thing to look for. Are they sketchy about that? Or are they just like, yeah, go ahead, that's cool? Things to note, all right? Just take pictures, whatever, and then that'll help you remember, because a lot of times once you leave, you're like, wait, that one thing. And I would also, again, ask to go see the bathroom. What does the bathroom look like, if you can access it? Again, did they have to let you in, or was that an easy way to get in? Honestly, if the bathroom's open while they're on site, it'll be a little bit of a pain, but at least you know you'll have access to a bathroom during business hours, and whatever. So let's see, number 16. This is a big one too. Don't be afraid to ask for a move-in deal. Whether you can get a free month, 50% off your first 3 months, whatever. Don't be afraid to ask. So that's a thing. Okay. And if your rent does go way up, also don't be afraid to talk to them about it. Don't just immediately move. If everything else is clicking, you can go in there and say, hey, is there a different deal you can put me in, or can you bring the rent down? From it went way up. Sometimes they're just going to say no. I mean, that's the worst thing they can do, is just say no. And I want to also recommend for you to reserve your unit online before you go, before you see it, whatever. And don't forget, if they try to up the rent from the online price, just mention it and say, well, I saw this online, this is the rate that I want, whatever. So don't be afraid to mention that, and do it in that way. Okay, number 17. All right, so there's going to be a footnote to this, but for me personally, don't be afraid to decline the insurance. This is my personal preference, and I just think it's a waste of money. And basically, so I still have renter's insurance for my last apartment, and that will cover losses. Dee Dee's coming over here. That will cover losses to your property. And just, declining is not going to be for everybody. And if you want that insurance, get the insurance. I think, again, personal preference. Okay, so number 18, remember that the staff just wants to rent this unit. They will act differently after you move in. They'll be less friendly, less helpful. They'll be snippy and short. Don't take it personally. They all do this. That's just what they do. So, okay, number 9. This is another big one, and probably should have been more towards the top. Never tell the staff that you're homeless, ever. They're not your friends, and you need to be discreet, and never reveal any personal information to them, to the staff. Okay, so they don't need to know about your life, and you don't want them to know about your life. Just keep all of that to yourself. Okay, number 20. Don't make too many trips to storage. This sounds crazy. What? Okay. So, when you're there, get in and out. Don't go there more than 2 to 3 times a week. And I wouldn't even recommend going more towards 3 times. Just don't do it. You don't want to be on your radar. Don't organize your car. Don't take everything out of your car and organize it, move it around. Don't spend too much time there. Make a list before you go. I need this, this, this. I need to unload this, this, this. Stick to your list and do those things. Okay, that's pretty much it. They can really start making your life hell at the unit. They can start, the gate code isn't working, and they can just start being really nitpicky with you and basically harassing you. They can raise the rent a ton. They can really make your life hell. So do not disclose your homelessness to them. Okay, number 21, be courteous to the staff, but don't be overly personal, professional, like you would someone at work. So professional. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you don't need to kiss up to them. That's also really just very minimal interactions, pleasant, but not over the top. that's pretty much it. Okay, 22. This is important too. You want to make sure, and this is before you even go in, you want to check their Google reviews and you want to check their Yelp reviews. And not just that, you can't as much do this on Yelp. You can only filter like the first page, but Google's better for this. Filter the negative reviews. And you want to see, like, there's going to be a lot of complaints about raising the rent, but you want to look more into other issues. Like for me, I mentioned earlier, I saw the review that someone else was having their stuff rifled through at this other unit. That not only that, but they had stuff stolen. I don't know if I had things stolen, but basically, look at the Google reviews, see if before you move in, see if there's a theme, see if you see something mentioned several times. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be mentioned several times, but if you see something, give that person the benefit of the doubt. That's not just sour grapes. Like, somebody had some things happen that were bad enough to leave a review. Believe it. And you just make an informed choice. And the other thing is too, there's always going to be problems with every property. Sometimes the issues that this person have wouldn't be an issue for you. Like if the hours weren't that great or something like that. I don't know. Like there's a whole bunch of things that someone could have a problem with that just, again, aren't going to be, on your radar as an issue. So keep that in mind. Okay. 23. If you can, view multiple properties. Even if you can't, just come back to that unit again, walk away. Don't rent it on the spot ever. So a lot of times they'll tell you, oh, this is the only unit left like this, or, they always want to pressure you into it. They actually don't want you to leave. It's like buying a car. They'll use a lot of high pressure tactics to try to manipulate you. Don't let that happen. Always leave. Don't act thirsty for the unit. Even if you're thirsty for the unit, don't let them know this. Play it cool, walk away, come back, and just leave it at that. You want to be in the power position on that. So, 24, don't be afraid to walk away. You don't have to explain yourself. This is before you rent. Okay. You don't owe anyone anything. You don't have to be nice about it. You don't have to be rude, but just, if you need to get out, get out. It's self-explanatory. So, all right. Number 25. This is another important one, and you can throw this in your storage locker. I would recommend keeping one disc lock and one cylinder lock. So properties are using one or the other these days, or both. That way, when you're moving into a new unit in the future, or you got to change your unit, you have one of each lock. It's just a waste of money. They'll usually charge you like $20 or $30 for a new lock. And this way, if you keep the ones that you already have it. You don't have to pay that $20. It's really just a waste of, it's throwing your money away. All right, 26. You want to make sure that they have an online portal to pay your rent. And you want to know if you're going to be able to turn auto pay on and off, because things come up, whatever, that's going to be something that you want to be able to pay your rent online. And I would say probably 100% of the storage units now want you to set up some kind of portal or have some ability to pay that. So, okay. 27. This is another important one. I feel like all of these are important. I keep saying that. Okay. So you want to see what the grace period is, meaning, I would say most of the facilities is the rent is due, on the 1st. And, some of them will set up for you to pay on the date, that you signed up. That's less common, but that can happen too. So you want to find out the grace period, because things are going to come up sometimes. For me personally, I get my disability, Social Security disability on the 3rd. So I'm always a couple days late on my rent, because of that. And, so you want to ask before you rent, what is the grace period? Because they'll all give you a little bit of a grace period. You don't want to always be stretching it, but you just want to know mentally, if life happens and you're whatever, that, you know, you're gonna have a little bit of extra padding to be able to pay your rent. And sort of in that vein, you wanna see like how easy it is. And unfortunately, a lot of times you're not going to know this until after you move in, but you want to see how easy it is to ask them questions. If they're always really snippy about it and they're like, oh, it's in the lease, they don't want to answer your questions. That's a real red flag. Like, you don't want to staff like that. And there are, unfortunately, a lot of facilities like that are just nasty about it. But that's literally their job. It's part of what your rent is supposed to include. 28. This is a no-brainer. It should be, but I'm going to mention it. Don't ever store open food in your unit. Open pet food, any kind of food. Don't think I'm just going to keep this here and then run over here and come back, because sometimes you don't come back. Don't ever do it. Please. No. 29. I would recommend to use a moisture absorber. There are some brand names. There are some non-brand names. It basically is like silica, like the little spheres that collect the moisture and they drip down into a bag. You'll want that. There's a lot of moisture in these units. They also make the almost like these little containers of... I know you want to come down. They make these little containers that do the same thing. I wouldn't really recommend those for storage just because they're really easy to tip over and they have this nasty like murky water that you don't want it spilling on your things. The bags are great. They're self-contained and you can just, it has a line like, oh, okay, it's time to change the bag, whatever. Those are easy to deal with. Okay, I lost my place here because my cat was jumping around. Let's see here. Moisture. Okay. So number 30. Don't keep anything in your locker. That would be devastating to lose. What do I mean by that? Documents, ashes, family heirlooms, photos. Never keep that stuff in storage. It should be self-explanatory, but it's not safe. Things that you cannot afford to lose, don't do it. Okay, so let's see. 31. All right. Only keep the daily use items in your car. Literally everything else needs to go into storage. Don't think I'm going to need this in a couple of days. Your car is not a big suitcase. Don't overpack for the trip, basically. There's no point. Let's see here. 32. I'm almost done. Okay, get the smallest unit that you can get. I have a 5x5 right now, and it's actually a little bit bigger than I need, but that's kind of mostly the smallest locker that you can get. You just don't want to you don't need anything bigger than that. Unless you're storing your whole apartment, then you can use the locker for both purposes. There's just no reason for your personal property while you're living in your car to be bigger than a 5x5. If you have more stuff than that, you need to get rid of some stuff, period. Travel light. Okay, so 33, and this is the last one. Remember to be sure before you move in that this is going to work for your needs. Just, some of the things won't apply to you, and this isn't really number 3. This is more of a closing. Some of the things I mentioned won't apply to you, and that's fine. You can take what works and leave the rest. I'm going to post this whole list in the comments and in the description so that you can reference this. And this advice is coming, my glasses are totally crooked. This advice is coming just from my personal experiences with storage, life experiences that I've learned the hard way. And hopefully I can help you to prevent some of the pitfalls of, storing things while you're homeless. And I'd like to know too, is there anything that I missed that, a hot tip that you have for storage units that you'd like to share with people? And definitely put those in the comments because I'd love to hear add to the list for people who are living this kind of life, homeless, living in your car, living in your van, whatever, or just homeless living on the streets. This applies too. Yeah, so I hope this helps, and you found some value in this video. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more homeless tips and survival techniques. Homeless survival techniques. So thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate it. Take care.